Good evening. This is the November monthly meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority. I'm Matt Seebeck, the Vice Chair presiding, and we'll call the meeting to order. Um, we have a quorum with Mr. Ailey and Mr. Fulham present. And with that, we'll initiate our agenda with public comment. At public comment, we ask that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each. And guests are reminded that this may not be a back and forth conversation. However, we will take your comments and do our best efforts to review them and get back to you. Is there anyone in waiting?
There is not.
Okay.
Vice Chair, can I interrupt you for a quick memo from Chairman Rains that I need to read into record?
You may.
All right, thank you. Letter from Norwalk Parking Authority Chairman Eric Rains in response to the letter that the NPA received on October 23rd from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association, which was read into record at the October 23rd board meeting. The NPA has a responsibility of managing parking in a way that benefits all users, including residents, community groups, and businesses, while maintaining fiscal prudence and solvency. Our mission is to enhance economic development by using proven best practices and creating opportunities within the community through the availability of well-maintained and managed parking spaces. We achieve this through balanced parking programs that operate self-sufficiently without receiving city funds. It should be noted that if city funds were required to subsidize the public parking, that this would likely come from an increase in the mill rate for residents' property taxes. The revenue that is generated from parking is reinvested into all of our facilities citywide, ensuring these assets remain in state of good repair. Properly managed parking improves the user's experience and supports local commerce by ensuring parking availability and convenience. The NPA is not in a position to change the practice from paid parking to free parking at any of its locations. The NPA continually balances its operations with creating and enhancing programs such as comprehensive citywide residential parking program to address various parking needs within the community. All NPA financials are publicly available on the Park Norwalk website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz. We appreciate that. We will mark that in our minutes. The next item to the agenda is discussion and action related to minutes from Wednesday, October 23rd. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes, and are there corrections or omissions to be brought to the board?
Nothing, no corrections from me, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon.
Peter,
Peter?
No, I'm good.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October meeting.
There's
Second.
a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion regarding the minutes?
No.
Then all those in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted and posted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we will adopt the minutes as submitted. We'll move to item 3, our special item for discuss and vote, the flash system. So Brian, I'll give the floor to you.
Thank you. Can you guys see the presentation okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
perfect. Sorry. Okay, so when I first stepped into my role, one of the immediate and significant tasks I was handed was to find a parking access and revenue control system, which is called a park system, for both the Maritime Garage and the Sono train station. The importance of this project was underscored by the clear instructions I received to identify a system that met all our operational needs while also providing a seamless experience for users. To ensure we made an informed decision, we embarked on a thorough vetting process of the top parks manufacturers over the past year. The journey was an extension of efforts that Laz Parking had initiated prior to my tenure here, highlighting the strategic importance of this upgrade for our facilities. We evaluated each vendor meticulously, focusing on their ability to deliver robust and reliable solutions. One vendor that stood out during our evaluations was Flash Parking. Their system checked all the necessary boxes, offering comprehensive features, innovative technology, and a user-friendly interface that aligned perfectly with our requirements. Additionally, Flash Parking's proposal was highly competitive with their competition, making them a standout choice. Moreover, Flash Parking is a member of a cooperative purchasing group named Omnia. This membership allows us to fulfill our solicitation requirements efficiently and provides added assurances of pricing. Our purchasing department has also vetted the proposal and has given support of this procurement if the board decides to move forward. The selection process has been rigorous and insightful, ensuring that we are well prepared to implement a park system that will serve both Maritime Garage and the Sono train station garage effectively. With Flash Parking on board, we are confident in the ability to meet our objectives and look forward to improvement this system will bring. I'd like to introduce Howard Benson from Flash Parking to give the commission a high-level overview of their system. I asked Howard to be very thorough but quick, just to be sensitive of time, but also to leave enough time for a Q&A. Afterwards, I'd like the commission to discuss the proposal and decide whether to proceed with the procurement of this system. The total proposed cost for both garages is $581,379. Thank you. Howard?
Well, first, thank you for allowing me to present the Flash Park solution here today. I think that, Brian, you put it very aptly that we do want to check all the boxes, and most importantly, we want to check any of the boxes you may have in the future that you didn't think of today. And that's where our system really excels and evolves as you grow. So with that being said, I just want to say to everyone here that we want to be a partner in sharing in your successes and your growth and grow with you. And throughout this presentation, I will be going over the different features that are part of your system that was proposed for both the South Norwalk train station as well as the Maritime Garage. So to understand what we're about and what we're presenting, who are we? Our connected platform. These are the different things we'll be discussing: our edge solution, our contactless data and integrations, and then end off with some questions and answers. And by the way, I will be talking a bit quickly today. I'm a salesman, so introductions usually are 30 minutes. So I'm going to keep this down to really, really quick. So our connected platform. Our connected platform is designed to not only grow with you, but to manage your initial and ongoing costs. Industry standard right now, to show you where we are at saving costs, industry standard is currently at 1 to maybe 2 years for your full service warranty on all parts and labor. To put our money where our mouth is, we've included 3 years from day one on all parts and warranties. Our system will also come with all the parts and features in the hardware so that if you may not use it today, but you want to use it tomorrow, we turn it on. We don't want you to have to go ahead and say, I buy a system today and I just have to wait 10 years, get my money's worth out of it and rip the system out and put a new. Our system will grow with you. It's much like the Tesla, which I'll discuss after when we get to our over-air updates. We are here for the customer experience, as you can see the large screen that is on the unit, as well as we have integrations with 30 plus apps that are out there and different payment solutions. We have multiple contactless solutions, which I will also go through in future slides, as well as our modular design that makes it easy to upgrade as well as to repair. All of our parts and pieces are USB enabled, so you just unplug and plug it in. It's goof proof, even if you plug it into the wrong USB slot. Moving on from that slide. You know, our system is only good as the people behind it. So we not only give you national support, but we also have a local presence. And our local presence is not only just in Connecticut, but we have our New York and New Jersey branch as well. So we can come at it from both sides. If you don't have a service tech in Connecticut that can get there, we have one that'll come right from our New York office from the other direction. That's local support for repairs, for hardware, for software, local technicians to be on site within 2 to 4 hours. Plus, we give you spare parts on site. So when our technicians do arrive on site, they don't say, well, I'll be back tomorrow with the parts needed to fix your system. Your parts are on site. I'm moving from that one. Hardware that's built to evolve. And talking about the first thing was 360-degree cloud control. That's much like the Tesla, that we give you over-air updates, which you see right down on the bottom over there, is that your Tesla you drove today, but this evening while you're sleeping, we did over-air updates, and tomorrow the car is driving itself. The same goes for our system. When we have new innovations, patches, different features, we'll let you know ahead of time that these are going to happen, but it never affects the operation of your facility. You don't have to reboot your system. The over-air updates go into your system, and you don't feel any pain from that. It doesn't slow down your monthly or your transient operation. We have 85 plus integrations out there, as well as an embedded dynamic rate tables, which will go into the next slide, as well as LPR enabled, which at both of your sites, we have license plate recognition, which will be part of your system. And I'll go into that a little bit further on the further slides. Now, we are the only cloud-based park system that has an offline mode. The offline mode difference here is that we ensure that you capture every single dollar, even if your system goes offline, whether it be the internet, whether it be our system in the cloud, or whether it be your merchant provider, your system will stay up and running. You'll still be able to get all of your reports, and we have different measures to keep your system up and running. So to your customer, they don't know anything happened. They will keep going in and out of your facility with no slowdown whatsoever, and you continue to get all the information that you need, even from your credit card information, which we have two ways, which is our hybrid mode or store and forward. Everything, by the way, is PCI compliant in all of our systems. You don't have to update any of your operating systems because since it's in the cloud, those are always upgraded as needed. Moving on to the next slide. This just tells you our offline mode is live, which it enhances your transient it handles your transient validations, rate calculations, your credit card and cash, your monthly credentials, whether they be LPR, barcode, AVI, which is automatic vehicle identification, which you don't have here, your access cards, your monthly access levels, even your counts that you will have over at the South Norwalk train station. You'll have counts for the whole garage as well as counts on each level of the garage, because you have a unique circumstance that you go up your helix and it's one way to the other side and you have to go down to go back up. So it tells you exactly how many spaces you have available on each level. So this way, the people coming on into the train station garage can get to that train on time. Moving to the next slide. We have an open platform, which again, as our software gets developed, you benefit from that because you get all those additional features. So if another authority thinks of an idea that they like and we developed it, you will have the benefit of those upgrades. And our hardware is also already designed that when we make these upgrades, you don't have to upgrade your hardware in the field. Again, reducing your ongoing cost of ownership. The key here is cost of ownership we always want to keep down. Our embedded rate tables, which I said earlier, as you can see on the screen, you see that our rate tables are actually displayed on the screen. Now, these rates can change on the fly, right from your cell phone if necessary. So if you want to change the rates because you had an event that came up last minute, you can change those rates automatically right from your cell phone. And you can schedule rate changes for a whole year of different events. You may have St. Patrick's Day parade, you may have something for Christmas, Thanksgiving, and you can schedule these rates to change automatically, and the rate tables will show up on that screen up to a year in advance. Okay, next slide. We also have a very powerful dashboard that allows you to see everything right there at your fingertips, which is your revenue by type, live occupancy reports by type, monthly and or transient. It gives you your equipment health, whether a gate or a ticket dispenser isn't working. If your tickets are low, it will let you know via email or SMS text. So this way you can replenish those tickets way before it ever runs out. Accuracy on your counts, so you could see how many cars came in without a card, and that's maintenance vehicles. As well as we have our reporting center, which you have a plethora of reports to view. Our system comes with over 400 standard reports, and with your branches that you can branch off by day, month, year, the amount of reports is unlimited. Plus, Laz Parking has their own BI that's integrated into our system that will allow you, their reporting is like double what ours is with analytics and everything else. So the Laz integration with their BI is absolutely phenomenal. And everything is under different categories. Now we go to our contact lists and data and integrations. These are just some of our integrations from Spot Hero, LazGo, A-Lot Media. You have Park Mobile, Google, Waze, ParkCrisp, you have Smarking. All of these plus 85 plus growing are integrations that are currently within our system that you can take advantage of. Next slide. One of our biggest announcements this year is that we are the only parks manufacturer that has an integration to every major navigation platform: Google, Waze, and Apple. When you go on any of these apps on your phone and you do a search for a certain area, let's say you go in for the Maritime Aquarium, as you know, on the internet, you always want to stay in the top 10. We're staying in the top 5. That you can select your garages, and in Waze, you actually select where you want to go. So you select the Maritime, the aquarium, and it'll put your garage right there. And when you purchase that parking, that's being reserved right through our search engine. And no apps are required. You go in there, you reserve your parking, and not only will it reserve your parking ahead of time, you paid for your parking ahead of time, but it maps it. So this way, you tap on it and it'll bring you to the garage. Moving on from that, Waze enabled. This just shows you how it brings you actually through the transaction. You actually see a live transaction happening on the right corner that we had taped on here. So you put in the location, you make your payment, it sends you a QR code, and you can enter your license plate. So when you pull up, it knows license plate ABC is already paid. So when you pull up, you don't do anything. The gate bends and allows you to come in. Moving on to the next slide. We are also now in 10 plus car manufacturers. So you know that search engine when you go on your dashboard and you look up your maps, or you look up a location or a restaurant or anything, that search engine behind that is Flash Parking. And currently we are in Ford, GM, Hyundai, BMW, Volkswagen, Kia, and others. So that in that dash, we are in there already. And again, we are the only parks manufacturer that has our system in here. We really want to be a digitally connected park system that can grow with you. Moving on to the next slide. We go to our license plate recognition. Now, this is the key to our success of running your two locations. Not only is our Flash Vision, our LPR cameras, which is license plate recognition, I'll just continue with the short LPR, is the only LPR camera that is designed just for garages. It's not ones that would go on your police cars, not ones that would go on your street lights. This is designed for a garage, for parking. It also has AI, artificial intelligence, so it starts to learn about the vehicle itself. So if, let's say, you have a bike rack that is blocking your plate and you only see the last two digits, AB, when you leave, it's going to recognize the bike rack and AB, so it knows that that's the vehicle that came in. So, because a lot of times you won't see the whole plate. So it improves your monthly experience because monthly parkers, as they pull up, it registers your plate, and we will be doing rear capture of your plates because front plate is not always required in every state. So all of the license plate cameras that we are putting in will be rear capture. So we will be doing some site work to make sure that we are able to accommodate rear capture throughout. And in addition, most LPR, now actually all LPR comes with two cameras for day and night vision. Our camera is one camera with a virtual memory. So this way you get rid of a controller that comes with all LPR, which gives you another point of failure. With these cameras, you do not have that point of failure. And you'll see here we have LPR signature, and that what I was telling you earlier for bumps, dents, stickers, or anything like that. It identifies it and it learns as it goes. And it also deals with your car counting. All of your on your helix, going up your helix, those are cameras that are doing your counts, your LPR, not just loops. Because with loops, it can be affected if somebody backs off. Our LPR cameras will capture that. In addition, your monthly access card, that's your cell phone. This is a backup to the LPR. If your LPR doesn't read a plate because basically you had a loaner car or you had a rental car and you're coming in not with your vehicle, you can come in utilizing the QR on your phone. Note, all forms of media are connected. So passback is a hard passback on all. So if you came in with your phone and then somebody was coming in with your car behind it, that plate wouldn't work, and vice versa. So all forms of media are connected. Now for payment options, we have digital ticket checkout, which your ticket now becomes your pay on foot machine, and your cell phone is a pay on foot. So all your paying can be done right here with no apps. You can scan the QR on the ticket. It brings you right to a payment screen. You pay for your parking. Now note, your license plate is associated with that ticket. So when you pay for that ticket and you go to the exit, it recognizes that you're paid, the gate vends and allows you to exit freely. Again, speeding up that egress. Now you have an online validation scanner. That's for simplicity if you want someplace that just wants to scan the ticket, more of the old-fashioned way, but it scans it, validates it, and lets you leave. Moving off of that slide. Now, mind you, you also have validation, which you can log on to any phone or tablet or computer where you can do validations there, all password protected, so you know who's giving out validation and when. You can pay for validations post or pre. Again, I had a small period of time to give you a really big overview of what we will be providing to you. And hopefully I was able to put that across.
Thank you, Howard. I think that, I think the system, you did a good job explaining it. Just, want to give the commission some time to ask questions for you.
100%.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, it's Peter. So I'm just curious. So is there a service contract that comes with this every year, an annual contractor?
Well, for the first 3 years, no, it's all included. All
Okay.
parts and labor are there, so no, you won't have any costs due to that, no.
Okay, so there's no, you know me, it's just no surprises, so to speak.
No surprises.
No surprises. So you pay the money and then it's 3 years, like you said, you're stepping up with the warranty. And after that, what happens? Just curious.
Well, you can initiate a service contract, but on most instances, we've done a lot of work with Laz Parking and others, and we give you the tools to maintain your system. Like I said earlier, we put spare parts on your site. So instead of having 2 to 3 hours, and sometimes less, depending on traffic or whatever, of getting there to service your equipment, you have 2 to 4 minutes worth of wait time because you have these parts on the shelf and you pull out the part, put in the new part because there's no screws. Everything is USB except for the credit card reader. PCI compliance dictates that we have to have those credit card readers screwed in. The only thing that you are responsible for is to check to make sure there are no skimmers. And again, like I said earlier, it's quite dummy proof because no matter what USB you plug into, it will work. So that Laz has done on many instances where they haven't taken a service agreement in years after the warranty expired. But I gave some samples of our costs, and typically our costs are half of what the typical parks manufacturers' service agreements are.
And what's that, Howard? I have no idea how much you're talking about.
Typically, warranties for other vendors, and I will just use a broad spectrum. I won't go into different manufacturers, but they usually do approximately 10 to 15% of the overall cost of a system is what you get as a full service warranty. And what they do is 5% increases, 5 to 7% increases per year. We do nothing more than 7% ever. And our increases are no more than 5%. So your cost is quite reasonable.
Gotcha.
And I'm just going to look up over here. Give me 1 second. So we're talking somewhere in the range of in year 4, where typically you'd already have 2 to 3 years of rate increases with other vendors, where our full service warranty for your entire system would be somewhere around 30 to 35,000, all parts and labor. And actually, it's going to be lower because I apologize. I do have site work in your project, and we don't add the percentage in for your site work because we don't have to warranty a concrete island.
I understand.
So it actually would be lower.
You said 35,000 per year for both locations.
For both locations, and it would
Okay.
probably be lower because I forgot that we have our site work.
Okay.
So Howard, just one more time, I understand 3 years is no expense whatsoever. And then after that, it might be say 7% moving forward at say 35,000 or less. So are you mandated into taking this service contract, or
No.
you're not? So,
No, absolutely not.
so you can let it run. If, let's say you were flawless for the first 3 years and you said, I don't think we need a service contract, and they've got parts and so forth and so on. And you've got, so how does that work if you were, say, had an issue and you would call your customer service and you would say, we've got a problem with a card reader. Help me out with that. What would take place then?
If you had no service agreement, it would just be our hourly rates that we have, which is 177.40 an hour.
And
Okay,
Peter,
but-
can I interrupt you for a second? So,
Sure.
in my experience with park systems and the repairs and maintenance, without a service contract, because I operated a garage without a service contract for a few years before we ended up getting them, because we ended up spending, we did a cost analysis and it was like, you spend X on repairs and maintenance for a year, but then the vendors charge, they're offering a service contract that is actually saving you money in the long run after the time of, the park systems being used. And with this system, just to reiterate, the module part of it is, if something fails, we're going to have extra parts of it where we can remove and replace without having to have downtime with them getting here. But we end up what I'm saying is, what if we don't end up going with the service contract after the 4th year, we can start doing a cost analysis on what we're actually spending, and then kind of make a business decision to get involved with a service contract with them. Similar to what we do now.
I
with our
understand.
current
I just wanted to see what is expected down the road.
Understood. It's always good to know. Was it Cy Sims that said an educated consumer is our best consumer?
Mhm.
I think I just dated myself.
Yeah, I know that one. Howard, your customers that don't have a service contract, how many hours typically per location do your technicians bill out? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, but that really varies on the type of location, size of location. I can tell you right now, we have the Westchester Mall with the same equipment that you have, right, that as proposed here. We have that equipment at the Westchester Mall, Westchester Mall, and that is 20 I think 27 lanes of equipment, 10 pay on foot stations, and this is going to be year 2 of having this system, and I have 3 service calls so far. Well, I should change that. I've had like 36 service calls, but that wasn't because the system was bad. It's because somebody's hit the gates, or somebody ran over a ticket dispenser, but that was no fault of the equipment. That was somebody that didn't know how to drive very well.
Okay. And in these units, what's you said everything's USB swappable, so to speak. What's the most common component that fails just from day-to-day use, and what does that component cost?
There's no one part that really stands out more than the other. The parts or all of our parts are off the shelf. You can literally go to Best Buy or an electronics store and find every one of our parts, and everything that we
Best Buy.
manufacture and put together is built in Austin, Texas. We've never, even through when they had COVID and they had all these supply chain issues, we never had that supply chain issue. And everything is very cost effective. You could look at every single part in our system and go onto any electronic store and find the cost of it. There are a few items, obviously, that are custom to ours, like our boards, that you don't get off the shelf, obviously. But things like your screen, things like your printer is the same printer that gets used in an ATM. That's actually the only moving part in your system is the printer. Everything else is solid state. Your only moving part is the printer, and it has 2 pins, and the printer comes out to be replaced.
Hmm.
I would say your biggest part that you wind up replacing are the gate arms that people drive through.
And what do those cost? You know?
For straight gate arms, they are $210, and those are aluminum aircraft arms. And I know that we're probably the cheapest gate arms out there. Our folding gate arms complete, because you don't always need the complete arm. It may be the top, it might be the forcing arm on the bottom. If you had to buy the whole arm plus the flange, it's $910. But most of the time, you don't have to replace everything. You just replace pieces of it, which is anywhere from 100.
Rocky, how many times have we had that issue? Numerous times at Maritime or the train station garage with gates?
Yes, we do have that mainly at the train station, the Maritime garage. We do, we keep spare here, and our staff knows how to dismantle it and put it back on.
And to reiterate, that those gates are covered for the first 3 years, Howard.
We cover all the parts and pieces inside the gates. We don't cover acts of God, people driving over things. Those things we don't cover because that's not something we control. We can't control somebody running equipment over. That would be your garageman's liability insurance or something along those lines. So I don't want to mislead anybody on on that type of coverage.
I mean, that would make sense, Howard. You can't control someone driving across a gate or something like that. Or so those kiosks that are, you know, with the big screen and everything that
Yes.
look really great, work really, really well. So when you said in the White Plains, was it White Plains that they had
Westchester Mall.
Westchester Mall, I'm sorry, that they had issues with that because of, again, someone driving into some of these things, or?
It's just people driving through the gate arm, or they had a truck come in for a delivery and didn't. So when I said a few dozen phone calls, it's all the locations over there. In that facility alone, I think they went through. Don't hold me to it. I could check it. I think they got a dozen gates that people have driven through. Rocky, sorry, Sarak, I'm so used to calling you Rocky. Now I know you like Sarak better, so I'm gonna make it a point to go that direction. But
I want to,
how many
let me
gates have
kind
you
of
gone
reel
through with
this
the
in a little
Maritime?
bit. Let me reel this in a little bit. So, you know, we do have, I think every garage has these types of issues as well. So it's the same as what we would do currently with our current system and potential new systems with these situations.
Yeah, and also, Pete, it's right now in our current operation, when we have those incidents, we have camera that captures the plate number and also the individuals who are doing it, and we've dealt with police department, with the Norwalk Police Department, and we were able to capture those individuals and make them pay for those damages. So even with the new equipment, if that happens, that will be the procedures what we're going to be following.
And it
Sounds
also
great.
has your LPR that has the cameras and the plate, and your forced gate open feature, which is an alarm. When your gate is forced gate open, that's when somebody hits it or pushes it up. So you'll know when it happens and you'll be able to identify the plate.
Thank you, Howard. Any other questions for Howard for the commission? Vice Chair, anything?
No, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Howard. Appreciate the time that you've given us.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me present. Do you want me to log off or?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're more than welcome to stay. It's up to you, but if you want to go, please take your night back. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much, and you have a very good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Benson. And now we'll move to take action on this special item this evening. I believe that the proposal was a capital expenditure in the amount of $581,379. If that is correct, we can entertain a motion.
I just wanted to ask Jim one question, if I could. Jim, you know this probably, better than, maybe not better than Brian, but you certainly, you know it very, very well. So you're on board with this 100%, behind this 100%.
100%. So Brian and I worked on this from day one. This was, when we went to the show earlier, that this was what we spent the most of our time talking to every vendor. We saw this in action. Brian went and saw it in action at the mall itself, and actually talked with the folks over there. I think that we did not make a rush to judgment here. We recognized that we had some challenges with the existing system, and we really wanted to make sure that the new system offered state-of-the-art technology to our users, one that was scalable, one that they could notice measurable results when they get it. So I stand behind this 100%. I think we made the right call. I'm excited to move and get this in. We've had some challenges, as with the existing system for a little while. Those have just been a little exacerbated with a recent technology upgrade that caused some challenges with the system that we were replaced. So we think we recognize that we are at end of life with this system, and look forward to putting this up and really making a measurable improvement to the user experience in these garages.
Thanks.
I think that's important. I think that's a key point with this system, and just getting something that actually improves the experience of all of our customers at both of these garages.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Brian. I'll steer us back to taking action if necessary.
Question, it's the cost of this is 581? Is that what
379, yes.
Okay, and the funding for this is coming from?
It's prior capital funding that we have had allocated for this for the system. So it is under the budgeted amount that we had allocated for. It's all accounted for. This is in. So I think it's important to note that this is in. We looked at a number of vendors. This is in line with other vendors, and we have procured this through a cooperative agreement, right? So that ensuring that we're really paying the correct dollar amount of this. We've looked at it in detail. The initial cost of this is not simply just the cost of the equipment itself, but I think Howard referred to some concrete work, some existing changes that we could make. And apologize for signing on late. And I don't know if Howard recognized this at first, but we also, in the determination of the existing system, found out that the cabling, the communications cabling to the existing system had been spliced a number of times, right? So all of that old splicing cabling will be removed with this job. All new cabling will be installed. So we will this is literally we're not taking advantage of anything before. We fully 100% recognize that we've had some challenges and difficulties with the existing system, and we wanted to make sure that we were replacing this soup to nuts. Every single thing is going, everything is coming back new. We are giving, we do not anticipate any further problems with the system once we're installed.
And all the cabling, concrete work, all that is under this 581 change.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, just to interject, at the big meeting, Howard said that there were like 20 Ts in every cable that went through the walls. And every one is potential for corrosion and problems and so forth and so on. So all of that's going to end.
Yeah, it's a full remove and replace.
Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to steer us back to the agenda and the opportunity for action.
So you're looking for a motion to approve? I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Flash Park Connect system at 581,000. And I'm sorry, what was that last?
379.
379.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. I'll suspend discussion since it happened pre-motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 With none opposed, the motion is passed and we'll move forward with the action for procurement. Thank you. With the close of the special item, we'll move to engineering and project reports. Brian, back to you.
Thank you. I'll speed up because we did spend a good amount of time on this. Just wanted to provide a quick update on the Yankee Doodle project. Last month, we reported that the aesthetic enhancement project went out to bid, but unfortunately, we did not receive any bids. Following this, we conducted a thorough analysis with THA, our design and architect team, and our known structural contractors who reviewed the bid. Through this analysis, we discovered that timing was an issue and that the structural contractors found, especially of the work that was required to be particularly challenging. Taking this feedback into account, we will be reissuing the bid shortly. Additionally, we'll be working closely with our purchasing department to expand our reach and attract bidders for this project. We've been compiling a list of other general contractors that we're going to reach out to that showed some interest after we reached out after the bid unfortunately opened. And that's the update I have for the project report.
Thanks very much, Brian. Anything in particular on the exterior repairs for Yankee Doodle?
So we are installing some drains for the final part of the project. GL Capazzo ordered the drains last week. They should be in. They actually probably came in today, so they're going to schedule that work as soon as I should probably hear tomorrow from them. But the drains, once the drains are installed, for all intents and purposes, the project's finished.
Wonderful. That's pretty exciting, actually. Thanks very much, Brian. Are there any questions for Brian? All right, we'll move to the operating report. Sarak?
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, everyone. I will try to make this quick, considering the time that we spent with the Flash Park proposal. For the month of October, we finished strong on both on a revenue side of it, also on saving part of on the expense. We were over 2.2% over budget for our total revenue and 4.2% under budget for the month. That gave us a positive 168 over 168 over budget on the fund balance for the month. Parking revenue, the reason for parking revenue over 2.5% is I'll be quick. Transient revenue, we were a little under budget, but we were seeing stabilization. The main underperformance came from Webster Lot and Maritime Garage. Even though we saw a higher revenue at the South Norwalk train station garage, the loss at the Maritime Garage and over on Webster Lot offset that increased revenue at the train station garage. On meter revenue showing strong for the month, and that is due to collection from blocked off spaces for construction, both in Sono and Wall Street area. That give us a strong revenue on meter revenue. Monthly revenue, we finished strong for the month, and that's mainly coming from the YMCA lot, which was unbudgeted for this fiscal year, and then coupled with an increase, slight increase at the South Norwood train station garage monthly revenue. Violation revenue for the month, we were under budget, which is a good, it's a good sign that our most revenue is not coming from violations, so we were under 3.3% under budget for the month. On the expense side of it, we are under budget for the month, which is favorable, and the main saving came from mainly from payroll and repair and maintenance for the month. Good. On the variance report, meter revenue for the month, we are over budget at 28.8%. As mentioned earlier, this is due to mainly from blocked spaces at both at Sono and South Norwalk and Wall Street area. Building repair and maintenance, we're under budget for the month, and that's mainly coming from on the budget line items for overhead gate repair, electrical repairs, and some paint jobs that we budgeted, we never incurred. And overhead gate, as we all know, it's towards the end of its useful life, and even though we're saving, we will anticipate that replacing those overhead gates. So towards the end of the year, we'll use up that saved expense on repair and maintenance. Permit violation management, we are over budget for the months, and this is due to, if we recall from on our prior month report, we were under budget because we were missing one invoice. That invoice got paid in the month of October. That's why we were over our budget. Vehicle expense is higher for this month. That's due to two of our enforcement vehicles that needed repair. Brian and I are working on this line item, on this expense line item. Our fleet is aging, and we need to replace. I know we saved in prior years. We didn't need to replace them, but I think they're reaching to their useful life, and Brian and I are working closely to have a fleet replacement proposal, and we'll be submitting those in the coming months. These are this is the full financial statement, and these are the highlighted line items that are for that were up for variance report explanation.
I'm sorry, Rocky.
Sure.
Brian, we don't use fleet. We don't have a fleet maintenance program, right? It's just vehicle by vehicle.
I think Laz might be better to answer that. I don't have that.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a good answer for you on that one.
Sorry, Sirach.
It is a vehicle by vehicle, Matt, and we contact the maintenance, the repair shop that we have in Norwalk is local, so he has track of all the equipment repair for vehicle repairs, and based on useful life, based on idle time, all those we determine and then replace a vehicle at a time a year.
Thanks for the refresher. I just forgot. Thank you. Appreciate it.
On some transient, system-wide transient activity, we are below 12.7, almost 13% below previous year. As you can see from the graph, at the beginning of the year, we took the big hit, and that is why the variance is so high for year to date. But we're not noticing transient activity, spiking up a little bit and stabilizing. We're also monitoring November, and we seem to be trending on a right direction. The payment breakdown for transient overall. Combining credit card, Park Mobile, and Text to Park transactions, were at 93% of our transient revenue is coming from credit card, and 7% is coming from bill and coin. In this month report, we're also including system-wide transient revenue breakdown by area. So we have all the areas broken down: on-street, Wall Street area, and broken the highest revenue coming from the Sono train station, Sono area, off-street facilities, and the on-street taking the bigger portion of the revenue from transient. permit sales is showing strong activity. Again, this is mainly from YMCA a lot, was unbudgeted. So the number of activity was also increasing based on that usage at the YMCA a lot. Also, we're seeing a slight increase at the South Norwalk train station for permit. Also on the permit side of it, we try to break down on this report location by location permit activity, and we'll continue reporting on this on the coming months as well. On-street parking activity, it's down for comparing it revenue from month to month. It is down. We're seeing a slight increase here up in October. That's that it looks like coming back, and the space closures is also has contributed for this lost transient activity. But on the revenue side of it, if you look at it, even though transient activity level is down, the revenue is up, and that's mentioned earlier. That's mainly coming from the blocked spaces at the Sono area and Wall Street area. Also, we start including the number of transient, the number of on-street activity versus revenue. As you can see from the graph of the Sono area and the West Avenue area, for lesser transactions, we're getting a higher revenue, and Wall Street area is where we are having a higher transaction, and revenue is lower than the number of transactions. That is because of the rate structure that's at the Wall Street area, which is 50 cents an hour for on-street parking. Enforcement for the month, we're seeing a slight increase for the month of October, and that's based on activity levels also increasing from prior months. So that's why you're seeing an uptick a little bit on the citation issuance. And also at this level, we're breaking down citation for expired meter, and we're breaking it down by a sub area, and these are the areas that are getting the higher expired meter transactions are happening at the Sono streets and the Sono off street area, and followed by the Wall Street the Wall area on street. Those are the top three locations, the sub areas. For parking violation for the month, we for aged collection for the month of October, we did 10,000 for the month, and comparing it to where we were at same time last year, we're at 87% of collection rate comparing to 2024 fiscal year. Ticket versus demand, as you can see, demand is increasing a little bit, and then we're seeing that ratio going up a little bit. On average for the 4 months, so far we're at 3.2%, and then prior year same time we were at 2.73. This is the ticket issuance broken down by locations. We're seeing a minor increase, comparing it, using the 2 month. We're looking at Washington being the increase in this ticket issuance, and we're looking at closely seeing why the ticket issuance is a little bit higher at Washington Street.
Do you have any idea about what's causing that at this time? I know you said you're looking into it, but
we're looking at this time. The only thing that this is purely a guess, not fully vetted out, Judd, but we're assuming that new customers coming in. As we are seeing a pickup a little bit on the on-street activities, maybe new customers coming in, not being familiar with the area. So, but that's just an assumption, not a clear answer. Pay by sale activity. We're seeing an uptick on the pay by sale activity. Transactions are higher a little bit, but we're in revenue wise a little down. And if we look at the graph that we created here, you can see that the areas that are showing a decline in transient activity are the ones that with a higher dollar value hourly rate. The Sono off street area is showing a decline, and also the South Norwalk train station parking lot, which is the overflow lot with reduction of those spaces. So those are the Park Mobile activities that we're losing, but seeing an increase on the lower rate transaction areas. And that is why even though Park Mobile transient activity is higher and revenue was a little slight down, and that the reason for it is that I explained earlier here. I'm sorry, I was trying to finish quick, and if I lost anyone through my explanation.
No, Sirak, you did a great job, and managed time well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions about the operation and finance report?
Just, Sirak, going back to my question about Washington Street, and that has the old signage still, right? You haven't swapped that out to the new signage?
That is correct, Jed. Those are still the old signages, and Brian is working closely with Park Mobile, so he will have an update. But when that happens, I will see an increased ticket issuance in that as well, just as we've seen in the Wall Street area.
Excellent.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Sorry, I was talking. Judd, just for further clarification on that, Brian is working. We're just waiting on the last of the sign to come in from Park Mobile, and that will get there. We really believe that, we saw that improvement come from, the Wall Street area, that we will see that there, here as well. So that should be up shortly. Brian, do you have heard?
Yeah, I have an update. I have an update on the agenda for old business on that. So
Okay.
we could go over it if we want now.
No,
but-
get there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Sirak. Appreciate it. We'll move to the next item in our agenda, which is new business on our discuss and vote for an annual rate review. Brian, do you want to introduce this, or would you like me to
Yeah,
talk?
so the annual rate review. Last month we discussed the ongoing practice of the NPA absorbing the 6.35% sales tax on meter and transient revenue. The discussion prompted a closer examination of how the parking authority currently reviews its rates. We identified an opportunity to enhance and standardize our rate review process to ensure it both comprehensive and consistent. Our proposal is to conduct annual rate reviews while also allowing for additional reviews if extenuating circumstances arise. To align with our fiscal planning, we recommend that these annual rate reviews take place before the month of December, ensuring they are completed before the fiscal year budget discussion begins. The systematic approach will allow the parking authority to make informed decisions, adapt to changing conditions, and maintain financial solvency while providing value to our customers. I'd like, just ask the commission to discuss and take necessary action if you deem necessary.
Thank you, Brian. I think this is a good way for us to approach our rates. I think Brian hit all of the highlights, hitting the terminology that I would also utilize, which is, this gives us the opportunity to systematically look at this and not allow it to go without, to go years or, fiscal cycles without us looking and agreeing and concurring with the facts on the ground that we receive. I think this is a great idea, especially in advance of December. It's when we start looking at our numbers again for the coming year. Peter, anything?
No, I agree. I think it should be looked at annually, and it seems like the right time of year.
Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah.
good idea. So you're looking for a motion just to make this a standard procedure we do every year.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion that the parking authority and city staff perform an annual rate review in what month? Perhaps should be October.
Before
forward.
December.
Yeah, prior to December gives us the opportunity in the event that we have a suspended month, Judd.
Okay. So you just want to say prior to December?
Prior to our December meeting, perhaps.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, I'd like to know what month it's coming, so, can we
Fair.
pick a month that we do it? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think, and, Louis and Sirach, keep me honest here, but I would think November would be a really good month to do it. It gives us a little bit more data to make decisions on before the fiscal year in July of the following year happens. So I think
Okay.
November might not be bad.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking end of the year, but not, yeah, fiscal year is still 7 months away. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to make a motion that Park Norwalk perform an annual rate review before December of every year.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, outstanding. Is there any further discussion about that? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And then our next agenda item is, I apologize here, our actual rate proposal for 2020. Well, this is the 2024 rate review for
The fiscal year
fiscal
of
year.
25, 26.
Yes.
So I should have renamed that better, so apologize.
No,
But
it's okay.
yes. So this is a couple charts. The one on the left illustrates the locations and rates with the added sales tax that would be shifted from the parking authority to the consumer. This does not have a rate increase in it. It's just separating the taxes. So the current rate remains unchanged, with only the sales tax now being absorbed by the consumer. For example, the parking rate at Webster lot is $1 per hour plus the 6 cents tax, resulting in a total of $1.06 per hour for the customer. The second chart shows similar tax inclusion, but also recommends minor rate increases for certain locations that are highlighted in green. For instance, the Main Street lot is currently 50 cents it would be 3 cent tax with a recommended rate increase of 22 cents, making the total 75 cents per hour for the customer to pay. Most of these increases are concentrated in Wall Street. The recommendations for Liberty Square and the Sono train station parking lot are based on the increase in demand. In Sono, we aim to direct the majority of the traffic at the lot to the garage because of all the development that's happening there. But where the garage still has the full day rate remains unaffected. We're not raising that rate. And I
I'm
think,
curious if I can
go ahead.
just follow up to that just a little bit. So I think from the tax perspective, we had that conversation with the board prior. There was a decision earlier, when in 2020, when the state enacted a 6.35% sales tax on parking, the parking authority board at the time opted to not pass that tax on to the consumer, and as such, the parking authority has been paying $25,000 to $27,000 a year. I'm sorry, a month. In sales tax, and we would just look to put that on. It's a sales tax, just like every other sales tax, right? So it is what it is. You see some odd numbers that fall there, like 213. So we really looked at heavily that we were just going to add the sales tax to this and not make modifications to the actual rate. Most of the transactions are coming through via credit card, so I don't think it's something that's really going to mean a lot to the average consumer anyway, of how they're going to pay. It's not like we're asking someone to pay a penny in there. It's coming by credit card. I think what I wanted to highlight is where we are actually proposing a rate increase, right? I think Brian talked about, I'll highlight the Sono train station first. The surface parking lot is high demand. And as such, it's challenging because it fills up. What we want to do is, balance by rate here and offer an incentive to the parker to park at the train station garage for $12. The surface lot, which is in extreme high demand, would be $14. We're hopeful that that it frees up additional space that eases the congestion that occurs at pickup and drop off, particularly at pickup. Since you come early, you wait for your person that you're picking up. So we think that, this is like an economic decision, share, supply and demand, where we're looking to balance the supply by the rate. I think that is also what we're seeing at Liberty Square. It is significantly lower than that of Wall Street. And as such, we think that we might have some people who are parking at a lower rate and then walking over. So this would hopefully stabilize the spaces and have them there to support Liberty Square. I think otherwise you're seeing the rate increases largely taking place in the Wall Street area. And that's twofold. One, they are some of the lowest rates that we're seeing. We're seeing the Yankee Doodle Garage at 25 cents an hour, right? And we here proposed a new rate that still continues a flat rate, which is like a normalized rate, like every 25 cents, right? But the rate increases and tax come together. We didn't do it again in the other one, but if we should we move to other ones in the future, that we would normalize that dollar amount, I think. But also Wall Street, I do want to add one other thing as we talk about this. It's not simply that we just say that the rates are too low, but there was recent changes in the planning and zoning code by the Planning and Zoning Commission that eliminated parking requirements. We have an approved development for the Wall Street area and a pending development within the Wall Street area that we believe to be underparked, and the demand for parking would be placed on city assets such as the Yankee Doodle Garage. We want to make sure that those spaces also remain available to be able to support the retail in the area. So we also don't want to come to a point where we're at $25 a month, right? And then all of a sudden we have to make a jump to $50 a month, right? So as we see the forecast of demand increase, we wanted to increase the rate to kind of balance that out at the same time, and then avoid a user somewhat of sticker shock when they do it. But that is a little bit of background to the decisions why we felt Wall Street was a candidate for this. And then, the other one is the rate increase, which was discussed at a prior board meeting and asked us to look at it. And this is a proposal of how we could incorporate that into the rates. So thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Brian. I think the other thing, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some of these apply, especially the increases on the street, really apply at the pay on foot station, because I believe previously we had raised the minimum for Park Mobile because it was we were losing money on transactions because of the low cost to park and the cost to maintain or at least the transaction fee that we were absorbing. So I think it's important to know we're already, this is a minimum increase that's really going to be felt more on the pay on foot station than people who have already adapted to an increased rate on the Park Mobile platform.
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Are there any further questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand this. So you're saying the rate after tax at the Webster lot, which is currently $1, are you proposing to increase this to $1.06 an hour? No, you're saying that's just what it is after the tax. That's what we're absorbing, that 6 cents.
So we wouldn't be absorbing any further. So when when you paid $1 by your credit card, it would show $1 for your parking transaction, 6% for your sales tax for we just wanted to let you know that the total that would be there would be $1.06.
Okay, so the rate really is $1. You're proposing that it go from $1 to $1.06. Because right now you go to the Webster lot, it just shows $1.
Right. So the consumer will see $1, but our rate is still $1. It is just we're charging the tax that we're required to.
Okay. And this is all transient rates here. Anything on monthly permits?
So we looked at them to see. Brian, where's the monthly? We did do the monthly for the Yankee Doodle Garage.
No, I didn't. I don't think I included it in here, Jim.
Okay, then you're gonna need to make an amendment because the Yankee Doodle Garage was going from $25 to $35, right?
So that is one. Okay, it's just not in here.
Yeah, it was the only one that there, but that again, that would be terribly important as we look to advance this with if we have other developments coming aboard that would take the parking away, like for example, I think it's $75 a month down at Waypoint, right? So we need to be a little bit more in line with it, but it was a transition into this, so not to avoid, but there should be when this do we have is this a review and vote, or is this a review item, Brian?
It was a review and an action taken
Okay,
if
so when
the
action is
commissioner-
taken, if it could be amended to include the Yankee Doodle Garage monthly hourly or monthly rate from $25 to $35 to be included in here as well. And we would incorporate the tax into that so that or just I'm sorry, we don't it would be taxed, but if we can go from 25 to 35 on that one.
All right, and so if you're looking for a vote, I'll just come right out and say I'm not ready to vote on this month. I'd like to table this till next month so I can speak with my fellow commissioners and some staff about these things. This is I think it's great. We're going to be doing this every year, so it won't be as big a deal. And I would just like to request from staff going forward, if you're going to put something like this to the commission, that you give us this data ahead of time, or just if you're going to provide the data this month, that we vote on it next month, because something like this, I think it requires a fair amount of thought and discussion, which I see you guys have done, but I'm looking at it for the first time. So
You're 100% correct, Judd. We should have this as a review item now, and we'll do a vote item. We'll do a review and vote at the next meeting.
okay, and then Jim, just sort of related to this, Wall Street. I know Wall Street Place is finally under construction again.
Yes.
The Thai temple. Is it possible for you to share with us the other potential developments in the area?
So sure, there is a there's a development for a long stay hotel that would be on Isaac Street.
Okay. Oh, right.
That was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yep.
That was approved with the less than a 1-to-1 parking ratio in there. But it did fall into the new guidelines of planning and zoning for a no parking requirement. And then the other development that is will be coming up for review as we hear is the development at 24 Belden, which based on some preliminary uses and their 91 car parking garage would be parking deficient from current from standards in other areas of the city that do not have a parking minimum reduction.
Okay.
Okay, so the action portion of this has been tabled. And so we will table this for the December meeting. Is there any further comments or questions regarding?
Yeah, I just had one question and just a question. So Yankee Doodle garages, there's a lot of employees from the post office. Do they pay the same rates and everything as everybody else does? Post office employees I'm talking about?
Pete, this is Rocky. Yes, they pay the monthly rate of $25 per month.
I'm just curious how that works. Okay, thank you.
A couple things too. Is there some way to measure capacity usage of, say, the Yankee Doodle garage? I know it's forever changing every hour or something like that, but is there some way we can calculate that on average it's at 60% of capacity, or do you guys have some formula for that?
So the Park Norwalk does parking counts, so we could turn those parking counts into occupancy for you. So we can provide that with you in advance of the meeting for next month.
Okay. And then in the past, when we did a rate increase, we had to have a public meeting about that. Are you guys are aware of that?
So we should be doing, so it was a discussion item now. We'll do a public meeting and vote for next month.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right, thank
Just
you.
one more quick question, Matt, is McMahon Ford still rent, like a block of spaces up on the top floor of the Yankee Doodle garage?
Yes, that's not
Yes,
one of
it
the, so they pay at a higher rate. That's not one of the rates that we're proposing increasing.
But they pay a higher rate currently.
They pay a considerably higher rate, yes.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks.
So the garage has a rate for normal, for transient, for normal monthly, for extended stay, right? So they pay one for, as well as a couple other people, a much higher rate if you're going to leave your car there for extended period of time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. I believe that this concludes new business, and we can move on to old business, if there's any to come before us. Brian.
Okay. Thanks, Vice Chair. Just another quick update on the sign installation. We kind of talked about a little bit when Rocky was going over the financials. We actually have some updated news about Park Mobile. We were successful with getting an agreement that was transferred from LAS to the authority. And now we're in the process of receiving those Park Mobile signs. And that's what's been the delay down there, because I didn't want the team to go into Sono, update the regulation signs without providing the Park Mobile signs with them, and leaving those 3 ways to pay on the posts, because a lot of the signs are posted on the lights there. And then once all that's done, I'm hoping to get a shipping info by Friday this week, so we can get them in. I've been told that they come in pretty quickly, the signs, because we're trying to get this done before, the holiday season starts with all the shopping, just to give the consumers a clear and concise messaging for our parking regulations. But also, once this is done, we're planning on releasing the 15-minute free option citywide to all the multimeters once the signs are installed.
Excellent.
And that's the update.
Thank you. Brian, if I'm not mistaken, that concludes the normal business of the meeting.
Yes, yes, Vice Chair.
There is one more piece, which is next month's meeting, which by normal calendar would be the holiday. So I believe that we had requested to revise that to the 18th. Am I mistaken in that? Or is that?
No, you're correct, Vice Chair. I did make the changes on the slides, the presentation, and it's also updated on the schedule for
All
the
right,
for the city.
Perfect. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
confirming. With that being said, and there being no further business to come before the meeting, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I see Peter. Thank you.
Make a
And yeah, no, I'm tracking. Great. And so at 7:26, we stand adjourned. I wish everyone a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I look forward to reconvening just before the holiday. And thank you for your support and patience tonight with a wonderful presentation. I look forward to how that comes to fruition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Good night.